1, 2, 2. It's still going. That buy is still occurring. And this is why the scanner is so useful. That being said, with the new month, we are in all-time highs, or top of the broadening formation. However, 3-2 quarter. So that's a good thing to know about the rest of this quarter going into the latter half of 2025. Qs, same thing, it's just continuation. Dow Jones, same thing, except notice reversal quarter. So this was the signal confirming the rest of the market going up. So you got the Dow going up. You'll see the momentum hammer day triggered it. The inside day up confirmed it. So up they go. Then IBM, same deal, 2-2 quarter. So all of that stuff's good. Still have magnitudes all-time highs in IBM and Dow Jones. That being said, tech going up, semis going up. It's just a lot of continuation. So the inside weeks of last week, of which, if we jump back to today's data, give it a second to load. So you're going to see with the weekly information that we got from this past week of trading, you still had about 75-76% of the market going up. Looks like we have some weird problems with the bars here, the green and red, which we will share to the devs. But with most of the market going up, you'll notice 12% down, which means what? 87% are accounted for. So 13% of SPYs inside, and about 10-ish% of the Qs is also inside. Therefore, those inside bars will confirm and negate. So we have some weird bugs just because of the trading holidays last week. So we're going to have those worked out. However, sorting by ATR $ is going to allow me to sort this list into something a little bit more tradable, which is really the only goal when going into those weekly scans. So let's take a look, starting at the top, Spotify. You'll see an inside week Spotify. It will have a inside day as well, also inside month. So at this point, let's see, did we make any lower lows on the daily? We did not. So we'll see, what comes of that. We would prefer a rev strat to trigger the inside week down and trigger the month down into the previous range, or inside day up back through a previous range. However, the magnitude's only going to be about 1%. If we go to coin, sorry about that. Coin inside week momentum hammer. You'll see potential 3-2 quarter, also 2 up year, and it'll be continuation month. And if you recall, we talked about this in the monthly vid. In the Bitcoiners, 2-2 month here, boom, you're in, and 70% gain. Don't you love the strat? We do. So we'll have coin in there, Spotify, ASML in the chips, inside week. You'll see closer to continuation month, closer to 3-2 quarter. Inside day to trigger it. Similar to Spotify. We go to LLY. Inside week, inside month. So it's a little bit stuck in there. However, if the weekly works, it could break the 2 on the month up here on 825. So that'd be last month's highs with the inside week and up. Or if it fails, maybe it takes the month down. So a little bit of a chop shop in here. And you'll see as far as levels of reclaim go, last big reclaim was over here. Now, if those inside weeks can break, we want to take out either side of this to get things moving. We'll have it on there. We'll see. LEU in the energies, inside week, inside month. I would prefer to stay away from it. It is pretty green this year. And if we look at the month, you got this triangle expansion, but notice mother bar. So let them chop them up. GEV. Momentum hammer week, pretty big gainer this year, would become 3-2 quarter with the inside week to break it, although very, very little magnitude. Lockheed Martin inside week. No monthly or quarterly signals to trigger. Does have inside day. Defense sector does not have an inside week. Industrials, car, and it's been on a tear. Look at this monthly. This is why it's so important to understand levels of reclaim. The hammer month, reclaim, boom, 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 still buying. This inside week would confirm that. So we like car. high volume, it's momentum. We'll be aware of the momentum if it were to fail. Z-scaler, similar from the monthly vid in April, going into May, 3-2 month, 2, 2, potential 2 again. Inside week to cause it. So that's also momentum as a measured move. A lab could cause a monthly with an inside week signal. Futu's in the China names. Personally, I'm not touching those, so it's not going to be on my list. AMD. Inside week, so they really rip them up in here. Could become inside down. Is double inside day, so we like that. To trigger the week. GE and the industrials, you'll see the triangle layout to the highs and potentially inside back down through the previous range. This could be a good one just for some weekly options. Let me go take a look at what those are trading at. So GE on the weekly, if we go inside down next week with full time frame continuity, I'd like to be looking at the 240 put weekly option. It's trading 130 as of the closed. Could be, a 130 to like 12 if we drop all the way through these nearby pivots here. So that's something I want to know about. And we'll have that on the vid. Let's keep going. Snow, another momentum name. You'll see the triangle out on the daily, so above last week's highs. The continuation and triangle expansion. If you recall from the monthly vid, the hammer month. Boom. Inside week to confirm that and add. ADP in the tech. 3-1 week. Inside month. Could be watching it. Doesn't look like anything else. Healthcare hymns could become 2-1-2 reversal triangle layout and back up. Or go inside week down continuation. Try and take the other side of the range. Now, just because we're at the bottom of this weekly triangle, I'd prefer the upside. No daily signal, although they have a 3 on the day. Technology, TTWO, another momentum name at the highs. CRDO, nice little monthly 2-2 in there, 44 to 93. Then inside week again, momentum. So I add it to the Momo list. They are just buying it. The developers did get back. Let me check on what they're saying here. All right, so did realize, gosh, there's so many features in here. Sometimes you don't think about how to use them. So if we do go back to last Thursday's trading, which was the last holiday, we're going to get accurate setup information. So if I sort by ATR again, we go weekly setup, you're going to see Spotify now, KLAX. So we get some more information because we get last price, unlike before, where if we go to today, it's going to take a sec to load. So you're going to see we don't have last price. It's just because of the holiday. This software that we've built on top of is more meant for intraday. And we're one of the first people that have requested quarterly, monthly, yearly because of what the strat tells us. So that's why we're having a little bit of bugs, but that is the way to fix, every single one of those bugs when it comes to trading holidays. Just go back, use the historical data, and that'll make it simpler. That being said, though, we might have a few others in here that we would have missed. Crowd, MicroStrategy, Meta. Just see. Those are, oops. We go to scenario 1. Yeah, so it looks like we're still getting the correct data. We just did not have last price. Let's get back to what we were doing. So we already did the inside weeks. Let's go to the 2 downs. And I do want to look at the biggest losers last week just to see if there's anyone having problems. It doesn't really look like there is. EXE has a little bit of problems here. Not sure what they do. However, we're right around the reclaim levels in here at 108. So that's something we can keep an eye on for bearish weakness. For natural selling, let's see, NTRA, nothing. I think it's probably better just go 2 down month and see where those are sitting. You're like, Alex, you're going way too fast. I'm just trying to make sure these videos don't get too long, but I'm also trying to show you what I'm doing. So all I'm looking is at the 2 down months to see like, okay, well, who's red, right? And going somewhere. And ideally going somewhere fast. And really EXE is the only one in there, and it's energies. We can look at the quarters. I doubt we're going to have much there. ELV. Yeah, so ELV in there. We go to the year. It's 3-2 year as well. So I'm going to put a star next to it, because that's expanding a lot of broadening formation. So you're going to see daily broadening formation expansion. Also have quarterly expansion 3-2. So if we went to like a week, you'll see, boom, that's an expansion of this. If we go to the year, if we go to like a month, you'll see the yearly broadening formation, the yearly scenario 3. It's also expanding. It's the same one as the quarter, right? So you can look at that and just say, okay, well, that's a bad looking chart, right? Where would it be going? Way down through all these guys. So when the whole market's rallying and this is going down, it tells you natural sellers. That's how we picked up on things like Lulu when this started coming in right in here. So let's go back. That looks like about it in there. Go to the weeks. We already looked at inside. Let's look at hammers. Microsoft momentum hammer. Amazon momentum hammer. And I really don't like, trading those myself, at least not as an entry. However, you're going to have Amazon, Google, Microsoft, so you can look for that simultaneous break to give you more evidence for it. NVIDIA as well. I'm going to put stars next to NVIDIA because this is Triangle Expando and it's a market leader. That's something we want to know about. CCJ and the uraniums tells me URA inside week. And that's good because URA is broadening expansion as well. You'll see on the quarter, it's a big 3. So if we go inside week and up, we could reclaim something I mentioned on Twitter here, this big 3 on the year. So since 3s are broadening formations, if we reclaim 42.36, tells us it's going up there. Right? If you don't believe me, when you reclaim a big previous range, tells you where it's going, and it's more likely to happen the bigger the range is. So PLTR, reclaim here, boom, right? So URA, if we reclaim that, don't tell me I didn't tell you, right? ARC is getting going as well. Inside week. And that's going to be your more growth stocks. And what I like to do is go like this. Use some AI and make it quick. So when looking at those ARC holdings, Tesla is in there with the hammer counter shooter week, which we talked about setting up last week. So shooter, hammer, if that breaks, could go really crazy here. So we'll add that to some focus here. And if that works, right, inside month up Tesla, if that works, rev strat quarter pivot machine gun Tesla, and if that works, wouldn't be an inside year anymore. Just be aware of the inside year, but some higher lows, some higher highs, then be good for them. AMD is in ARC, Amazon is in ARC, Palantir is in ARC. which would have a 322 week. Shopify is in ARC, just continuing. Robinhood is in ARC with an inside day. And if you recall, we pounded the table on this one. Oof, what a nice 84% move. Beat the market with the strat. Let's go. TWST. Twist in ARC. You'll see reclaim of the previous range above this. And it has been a lot higher, 61%, if that wants to kick into the highs. You also got, I think, no, it's higher lows there. So this is the reclaim. A little bit stuck, right? But I could send it flying. You got an inside day in there. See if those small cappers kick in. CRISPR, this is one we talked about last month, end of last month actually. And on the quarterly vid, 2-2 quarter. I'm gonna put a star next to that one. I really like that one because gene editing, been around for a while and it's definitely a very useful thing, but hasn't really, picked up any steam. However, this broadening formation, if we go from 50 to 100, who's to say it doesn't go to 200, 300, right? Something crazy could happen. And you got pivots to remove liquidity. So as we go through this previous range above 55.88, should speed things up. So we got some ARC sympathy in there. And let's see, do we have any bearish shooters? What do we got? Healthcare. So a lot of healthcare names. Bearish weekly setups. United Healthcare. Ooh. And this is why we don't like trading inside months. Look at this. You get stuck inside this forever. New high. Oh, it looks so good. Reclaim with a change in daily continuity. It looks terrible. Bring them back in. Sets up a shooter week. So UNH, that could kick things in. 306.78. And it has been going kind of sideways. So let me go see what it's trading at or some puts there. If you guys don't like these longer videos, let me know and I can cut all this out. I used to do that, but I figured, for those that are going back and studying, like, what do you look for? Well, you look for slight higher highs and then a signal, right? You can learn a lot of stuff just looking for the setups here. So below 306, we get this 295. So we look at the put, a 300 put should be $5 in the money at target. It's $1.87. And if it goes all the way to 289, it'd be worth 10. So we like that. For weeklies with GE put. Let's see what else we got here. PHC, more healthcare. So you can see the daily broadening information here has grown a little bit. It is shooter week. Could also go 2-2 tomorrow. Bring them back in. We'll see ABT healthcare. Inside week shooter pivot machine gun and all these guys. Could turn into a home wrecker here. But it could also become 2-2 day up next week. So we'll see. Lennar, the home builders, route row. That doesn't look too good. So inside, you can see sideways, poke down, poke up, poke down inside, poke up. Rev strat would be poke down. Now, they don't have the best options in here, but we'll just note that home builders may be weak. LMND, if you're trying to trade top of the broadening formation, you got to shoot a week in there. However, it's not triggering anything. It would just have continuity with that. It's really about it for the shooters. So if you're skipping to the end of the vid, here is your weekend vid. Market is still rallying. Home builders maybe weak. Specifically, I believe it was Lennar. Inside weeks, here they are. You're gonna have some high volume momentum measured moves. So these are gonna be your high flyers in here, as well as HIMS, which is not a measured move, but it is, you know, high volatility. Outside of that, you got some inside weeks, inside days, and then GE. I just like the little triangle out setup, and the options are cheap. So 240 put, that's something I want to know about next week. And then you'll have uranium, which is your CCJ. It could also be your UUUU, could be your like SMR, that type of stuff. ARC K, right? So the small cappers. It's going to tell you the focus. You see Twist, Tesla, Crisp. Tesla, hammer counter shooter week, trigger month, trigger quarter, so domino setup, which is inside arc as a sympathy name if arc goes inside week and up, then twist inside week, inside month and up, then CRISPR is just a 2-2 quarter, but we really like that one because it's got a pivot machine gun. So we got some stars next to it, looking for new 60 signals. Just to show you what we mean by that. If you look at the month, right, it's going up. Quarter, 2-2 quarter, it's going up, right? Anytime you're above 52 or 51.52. So how do you look for signals? Well, for example, you look for new lows. Right, new lows, 2-2 reversal right here, you get it, and then try and hold it right, until it doesn't go anymore. Ideally, we get some bigger lower lows next week. You'll see, for example, this one in here, buy it, up they go. Ideally, next week, we'd want to see something like this. So we get the triangle layout and then start ripping again. Not always do you get a big one like that. It might be like a 5-minute setup, but we will see. Let me pull this back up here. Outside of that, we got some natural sellers in ELV, which is in your healthcares with UNH. And we got a lot of shooters in healthcares. So we'll see if those guys are weak next week or not. And then Chewy, which I did not mention here, but if we go to the daily Chewy, you'll see after earnings. Gosh, having this indicator in here is making it slow. But after earnings, you'll see didn't react the best. However, you're stuck inside this range. So making higher lows. And notice to make these higher lows, if we're going to go, you see high, low, lower high, higher low, and then higher highs, or just, you know, higher highs like this. In order to do that, we make lower lows here. So this 2-2 day could kick in and give you this move here. We'll take a look at those options quickly, since I did not get to do it. What do you got? Chewy options, call. We could look like a couple days out, week out. Let's see, the 12-day call is pretty cheap. Yeah, so if we look at these, the 42s, 90 cents, 42.5, 72 cents. So I like that. Those guys are really cheap because if this works and we go to 43 or 40 or 43.84 or 44, those 42s will double. 42.5s will go double as well. So we'll be watching that. Maybe it gets a lot better with a weekly reversal. At this point, it is inside month, but I just like that daily setup. That is it, though, for the weekend vid. So adios, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. I'll see you guys bright and early Tuesday morning.